Hello and welcome to the Kim Jacobs Show. I am Kim Jacobs, your host, and I'm excited to spend this time with you today. Many people are wondering how to maintain their sanity in the midst of chaos and confusion and clarity and uncertain times, and trying to figure out how to keep this thing called sanity together. Many of you know that insanity, the definition is simply if you continue to do the same things over and over and over and over again, but you expect a different outcome, then guess what? That's called insanity. And so we don't want to find ourselves in an insane situation in life, especially with all that's going on right now in society. It's easy to just lose our wits and not keep our wits about us because it's like so many different things transpiring that it can appear to be overwhelming. And in many instances, it is. So today I'm talking to you on the Kim Jacobs Show about tips on how to maintain, if you already have sanity, how to maintain it. If you don't have it and you feel like you need to kind of regroup and regain it, then how to gain control of your sanity in these difficult times. Now, as you all are aware, sometimes professional help is needed. And in that case, I never downplay that and I don't take that for granted. So always seek professional help if you feel there is a sincere need for that in your life. And all you have to do is Google all different types of hotlines that are available, and people are there to provide immediate assistance for those that need professional help. So you can check with your healthcare provider. They usually will give you a recommendation if that's the case. You also can talk with your pastor. They can give you some counseling from a Christian perspective. And you can also talk with your life coach if you have a life coach. There are different people that are available to help you if you're struggling beyond just the basic tips that are being shared from a life coach person like myself, a talk show host that's sharing information with you that I know is helpful, that you can apply immediately. But there are some people that are already kind of beyond those situations. So keep those things in mind. Now, I would like for you to make sure that you subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show. If you haven't already, make sure that you take a moment and go to YouTube and subscribe. Well, many of you are watching on YouTube and you're also watching on Facebook, but make sure you take a moment to subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show. And by doing so, you can turn on your notifications and it will alert you when I put videos out like this. And the information is to help you be able to be the best you that you can in life. It's helpful tips, and sometimes I'll have guests on that will share their backstories on how they've overcome different areas in their lives. If you scroll down on my YouTube channel, there's so many different interviews that I've already done. I've had Pat and Emmett Smith, NFL all-time leading rusher, and his wife, Pat Smith, which is one of my sorority sisters, and she's also the author of Second Chances, Beauty Queen, all kinds of great stuff about Pat. She's incredible in her own right outside of Emmett. But I have an interview there for you to be able to watch with them on how to balance a blended family. I have people on there like Dominique Wilkins. How does he balance being when he was in the NBA and also having diabetes? Les Brown, my mentor, I have an interview on there with him on how to balance life and networking. All kinds of different interviews. I've had people like Geraldine Brisbane Crooks, and she talks about how she didn't speak for the first 12 years of her life and what triggered that in her life. So now how much joy she has in her life. Christine Kozachuk and how she overcame abuse in her life. It's so many different interviews that I have on the Kim Jacobs Show that you can go back and look at and see how people overcame so many things to become who they are today. So don't forget that while you're home, you can scroll through, look at the old shows, and those shows will bless you today. I can promise you that. So make sure you take a moment to do that. So today, as we're talking about being able to maintain your sanity, how to have sanity, I'm going to look down periodically and just see if there are any comments. Oh, I actually can just look right here at the comments. Okay. If there are any comments, I will be able to see them as well and communicate. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right in. When you're striving to maintain your sanity, it's a few basic parameters that I think you should automatically include. And I don't have those listed as tips, but those are key factors that I think will help you just get over the hump in making sure that you have implemented prayer into your life, whether it be a daily prayer in the morning and at night or midday prayer, whatever you can do to include prayer into your daily routine is important. And it's something that you'll be able to have just a stronger sense of, whew, that got me over, that got me through, especially when you're being sincere and going all in and getting your ugly face and not worrying about who's around you, but just between you and your higher being. And even if it's meditation that you thrive on, and quiet time, relaxation time, whatever works for you. For me, it's prayer, getting like downright ugly in a lot of instances, crying and wiping my nose and just pouring my soul out to the Lord is what I do. But whatever works for you, make sure you implement that as a part of your life. And also making sure that there are times when you're dealing with issues that regarding sanity that you may have to brace for impact. And bracing for impact for me means that, okay, some of the things I thought could happen in life, guess what? They really did happen in life. And so now what do I do in that instance? I have to brace for impact and say, okay, this is something that I never could have foreseen happening, but now that I see that it's a real possibility, how am I going to function? Am I going to lose my mind, or am I going to say, okay, this happened, and now what I can do to pick myself up and keep moving forward in the way that I believe God would want me to. So in situations like that in your life, make sure that you understand that some great things can happen and some not so great things can happen, but be prepared mentally when those not so great things do come about in your life. And so those are things outside of just the tips that I'm actually going to share with you. Let me see if any comments. You know what? So I'm trying to see if I have the comments here. Good morning to you, Chantel, and Pastor Kunz and Rhonda Sanders. It's a pleasure to have you all on today. So thank you for joining the Kim Jacobs Show with me. And I'm quite excited to have you guys watching and being a part of today's broadcast. Number one, let's go right into our points. Let's see. We're going to go straight into our points. Point number one, make sure that we identify what triggers you to lose it. There are basic things that you can pinpoint to say, okay, whenever I'm dealing with this person, whenever I'm dealing with this situation, whenever I find myself focused on this area, it triggers me to feel a little bit unstable. And so when you're constantly feeling like I'm in an unstable situation because of this particular trigger, then you want to identify and write down, okay, that was a trigger for me. So let me keep that in my trigger project, in my file of this triggers me. This person triggers me. This situation triggers me. Those are things that you want to make sure that you capture and remember, so that when you're dealing with that person in the future, or you're dealing with that situation in the future, you already know going in that it's a possibility that it can start messing with your sanity. You'll be like, you know what? Let me get my mind right, because I know I'm getting ready to deal with a live one. I'm getting ready to deal with a situation that puts me in a mode of I'm being triggered. Now, make sure you identify that, write it down, whether it's in your computer, whether it's on your phone, whether it's on a notebook. Capture the fact that you know what your triggers are. And thank you so much for joining, Eric Johnson, Pastor Eric Johnson. Glad to have you. And Chantel Patterson, Pastor Julius Kunz, Rhonda Sanders, all of you that are joining in today, thank you so much for joining this episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. Make sure you go subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show and turn on your notifications, and see all of the other shows where I've interviewed guests as well that have shared their backstories and how they've overcome various aspects of their lives to become who they are today. So, point number two, deal with drama calmly. it's a conscious decision that we make when it comes to dealing with the drama that happens in our lives. We're not in control of what happens as far as what someone else does to us. It's impossible for us to control other people. But what we can control is how we respond to what happens to us. Now, you can easily be like, I'm gonna cut you, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, or whatever the case may be. But it's also a way to respond that is like, you know what? If that's how you choose to behave, then shame on you. God's got you, and God's going to deal with you and yours. And let God handle different situations, or let authorities handle certain circumstances and situations. Whatever the case may be, don't always take matters into your own hands, because sometimes the outcome is very detrimental to you. Even though you may have been wronged in certain situations, keep in mind that dealing with drama as calmly as you can. Now, not every situation can you deal with it super calmly, but you may have to say, okay, you know what? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull in the different resources that I need to pull in to help me deal with this situation so nothing goes sideways. But that might need to happen. But when it comes to you making a conscious decision to say, this is not right, this causes me to be able to have significant stress and aggravation and like out of kilter kind of feeling, then guess what? You might need to check with a counselor, you might need to check with some type of authority figure to find out how you can have the best possible calm outcome so that nothing pops off. Make sure you keep that in mind. Hi, Tracy Younger. So glad to have you on the Kim Jacobs Show today. Thank you for tuning in. So make sure you deal with it as calmly as possible so things do not spiral out of control. That's point number 2. And I have the points typed here for you so you'll be able to see them at a later time and reference them again. Point number 3, identify where you're safe. Where is your safe space? We all have to have a place that we consider our safe haven. When I'm with this person, I feel just totally safe and safeguarded and comfortable, and I'm able to be myself. I don't feel judgment or feeling like I am having to put on a mask or feeling like I'm having to be in on mode. I'm just totally able to be free to be me in this situation or in this circumstances or in this environment. Make sure you know where you're safe. That's important to know. Katrina Womack, it's a pleasure to have you on the Kim Jacobs Show. I feel like you guys are my studio audience. So Kimberly Frank, Tracy Younger, listen, when I call your names out, it's only because I am considering you guys a part of my studio audience. And I'm excited to know that I have audience members that are participating with me here on the Kim Jacobs Show. My dream would be to have an international television talk show and it be filmed in front of a live studio audience. So technically speaking, you're my live studio audience. And so thank you so much for being a part of my audience today. And I truly appreciate it. Right now, we're talking about tips on how to manage your sanity. That's what today's topic is. Tips on how to manage your sanity. And so far, we've said, number 1, identify what your triggers are. Number 2, make sure you make a conscious decision to deal with drama as calmly as you can. And now we're on point number 3, which is, where are you safe? Identifying your safe space, where you consider to be my place of reprieve and restoration, and where I can actually just be true to who I am as an individual, and the people around me love me for me. That's important to know. Number 4 is make sure you don't isolate yourself. If you're maintaining your sanity, hi, Valerie Dixon. Thanks for joining the Kim Jacobs Show and being a part of my studio audience today. Listen, if you are trying to maintain your sanity, make sure that you don't isolate yourself. It's nothing worse than being in a complete alone time when you're already down and out and you're not sure how to handle something. And now you're in total isolation. The blinds closed, lights off, every bit of lightness is cut off with bags and doors are locked. Nobody can get to you. That is when you can really start to allow your mind to play tricks on you. So if there's any way to force yourself to call a friend, to call a family member, to text and just stay connected so that people know when something is not quite right with you. They can immediately pick up on it because they've been connected and you've allowed yourself to be connected with them. Kenice, it's a great pleasure to have you join us on the Kim Jacobs Show today. I am going to take a brief break and let you know that this evening I will be on Kenice Etwari's show today at 10 o'clock p.m. So make sure you go to Kenice's page, her Facebook page. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you go to Kenice, Kenise. And let me just type her name here for you so you'll know exactly what page to go to later tonight. Let me take this point off right now for 1 second. And I am going to show Kenice Etwaru. I hope I be pronouncing this right. Please tell me later, Kenice, if I'm not pronouncing your name right, because I never want to do that. But I will be a guest on her show. She wrote a book called This Is How I Fight My Battles. Her book is called This Is How I Fight My Battles. And I will be on her show later today. And let me see, I'm going to show you this. This Is How I Fight My Battles is a book that she wrote, and it has collaborating authors on it. And I'm one of the contributing authors. And the book is available right now for pre-sale. It's an incredible book that is going to change every person's life that reads it. All of the stories are of different women that have fought various battles in their lives. I guess this is a commercial break. Yeah, hold on. Go to commercial break on the Kim Jacobs Show, and I'll tell you about a book called This Is How I Fight My Battles by Kenice. And Kenice is the primary author, and all of the contributing authors have written chapters in the book. I'm one of the contributing authors. And tonight at 10 o'clock p.m. on her Facebook page, I will be her guest. And she's going to be interviewing me about my story. And so please make sure you tune in and go to Kenice's Facebook page to watch that interview tonight. Let's go back. Thank you so much for enjoying that commercial break. This is funny. I love stuff like this. You don't understand. It's my true dream to be a television talk show host. And I've actually had the show before on PBS and on the Word Network, filmed at the Old Praise the Lord studio in front of a live studio audience. And so I love stuff like this. It doesn't matter if I'm in a room or if I'm in front of a live studio audience, which technically I'm in front of a live studio audience because I have Chantel Patterson, I have Kenice, I have Valerie Dixon, I have Katrina Womack, I have Kimberly Frank, I have Tracy Younger, I have Pastor Eric Johnson, who is preaching the word on his page and doing a great job. And I have Pastor Julius Kuntz, who also preaches the word, Rhonda Sanders, and I know her and her husband preach the word. I have a great studio audience of people that love and support me. So thank you for being a part of today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. What we're talking about is how to manage your sanity. We've been through the first 4 points, which is 1, identify what triggers you to lose it. Number 2, which was, I'll show that again. Identify what triggers you to lose it. Point number 2, deal with drama calmly. Point number 3, where are you safe? Where's your safe space? Point number 4, don't isolate yourself. And now we're on point number 5, which is the final point for today's episode, which is focus on serving others. When you take the focus off of what you're dealing with and how bad everything is in your life and, oh, woe is me, the weight of the world is on my shoulder, pity party, guess what? And you start to focus on what can I do to help make a difference in someone else's life, you'll notice that I haven't even had a chance to think about all the drama I'm personally dealing with because I've put my efforts and my energy into serving someone else. And that can make a tremendous difference when you're trying to maintain your sanity in life. So focus on what matters and helping somebody else and do something that you feel you're bringing value to the universe, value to the world. And now you're able to say, okay, you know what? I went and brought groceries and just did something like in my neighborhood that I used to live in. Every holiday, my children and I, and this is all of the neighbors, we literally would just do nice little bagged Christmas items. It would be treats, baked goods, and things, and sit them on each of our neighbors' porches. That was like an adventure for me and my children. So right now, in the midst of the coronavirus and all that's happening, there are some creative, out-of-the-box things you can do to just show that you're thinking about someone else, caring for the elderly, getting a bag of canned goods and taking it and putting it on their porch. And again, it's non-perishable. You're not dishonoring social distancing. You're still honoring that, but you're just thinking about someone else, taking a case of water and sitting it on the porch of one of the senior saints. You can do so many things that show that you care to help somebody that's in need. So keep that in mind. Let's see who else joined us. Bettina Polly, it's a great pleasure to have you on the Kim Jacobs Show. Thank you for being in my studio audience today. I appreciate it. So that was point number 5. Focus on serving others. I would like for you all to keep in mind that this evening, tonight at 10 o'clock p.m., I will be a guest on Kenise Itwaru's show, and that's on her Facebook page. Make sure you tune in and tell all of your friends. It's going to be an interview where she's interviewing me. She is the main author of This Is How I Fight My Battles, and they're contributing authors that have contributed to her book, and I am one of those authors. So I'm excited to be a part of her fascinating, life-changing, jaw-dropping project. It is an incredible book that you don't want to miss out on getting your copy. Right now, for the month of April, I'm allowing people to pre-order it for only $15. The normal price for the book is $20. But for the month of April, I'm allowing the pre-orders to come in for $15. The book will be released sometimes in May, and I want to make sure that you know that. All right. And if you have not subscribed to the Kim Jacobs Show, make sure you take a moment, go over and subscribe right there on YouTube. Subscribe. Turn on your notifications by hitting that bell, ding, 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 and it'll turn on your notifications, and you will be notified anytime the Kim Jacobs Show is on the air. If you're listening to this on my podcast, make sure you get to that YouTube channel and turn on your notifications and subscribe. You can also put comments right on YouTube as well as here on Facebook and different places. Any outlets that I offer it on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Sound, iHeartRadio, Deezer, you name it. You can definitely put your comments, download it to your devices, and I will be happy to communicate. I will also let you know about my book, Extreme Balance Makeover. And the reason I'm telling you about that book is because right now, in the midst of everything that people are dealing with their children, time management, trying to figure out how to find that fine balance, and even sometimes just total chaos and imbalance, how do you pull it all in? In my book, Extreme Balance Makeover, I'm allowing just an actual ebook version of that, which is an electronic version that I can send you via email for $9.99. And that's something you would have to send me your Cash App, or you can send it to me via PayPal for $9.99, and I'll send that right over to you. Make sure you include your email address so that I'll know where to send the actual book. Extreme Balance Makeover, Better Focus, Better Solutions, and Ultimately a Better Life. Now, that book, if you go to Amazon, is available for $14.99, and you get your paperback along with a Kindle download. But if you just want it right now and you want to be able to download it to your iPhone or to your iPad or whatever, you can just communicate with me, kim@thebalancedoctor.tv. I'll get your payment and I'll send it right to you electronically. So I am excited about today's show, which has been it's just been a great topic on how to manage your sanity. I hope that something that I've shared with you today has been helpful. Did anybody have any questions or anything? I don't want to disconnect. I needed to hear this. I have had a crying morning. I am so glad I tuned in. Oh, I am so glad that you tuned in as well, Chantel. And I'm asking God to allow you to have a better rest of your day. Better yet, I'm asking God to allow you to make the rest of your day great. Make it a great day. There are some times that we're going through trials and tribulations, and we're genuinely sad because it's a real situation. It can't be downplayed. I'm upset. I'm hurt. I'm disappointed. I'm broken in my spirit. It's not a joke. What you're going through is real, and it's real for you. and is real to you. And God says that whatever we care about, he cares about. So he cares about what you're experiencing right now, Chantel. And I'm asking him to just lift your spirits, encourage you to go on to be all that you are created to be. Make those bath bombs that you were talking about. I read your post yesterday, and you were talking about making some bath bombs. So don't focus on crying, focus on results. Get those bath bombs made, and you never know what that's going to do for your life and how it's going to bless so many other people. Okay, anybody else have any other questions? Kimberly Frank, thank you so much. Yes, amen. So be it. That's exactly right. And I see, good morning, Kim. Hi, Pastor Eric Johnson. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And I'm so glad that all of you were able to be a part of the Kim Jacobs Show today. I can't think of anything else that I was going to say. I just wanted to make sure that I gave you those 5 points, and I hope that it's been, helpful to you. And tonight at 10 o'clock p.m., let's see, anybody else had a comment? Tonight at 10 o'clock p.m., please go to Kanice's Facebook page, and you'll see an interview that she's interviewing me, Kim Jacobs, the Balance Doctor, and I'd love for you to be a part of her studio audience tonight at 10 o'clock p.m. on her Facebook page. God bless you all, and you guys be so encouraged and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.